So welcome to the Starting Your Own Business Live Q&A again with me, Dave Holland, as your host and guest, and also the fabulous Samantha Acton from Domestic Angels in the UK. Sam, hi there, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, how are you?
Extremely well, apart from a very cold bank holiday. We celebrate the bank holidays over here in France that the UK has as well, which is a good thing. So we had bank holiday as well. It was as cold and damp as yours was with the sound of it though. So
yeah, it's just cold and damp. It's like, right, okay, let's just crack on with the next academic year. We've done that. The summer's not happening. It's not switched on. It's not downloaded. Let's just move on.
Yeah, exactly. Move on from it. Move on from it. So exactly. So the school's back in the UK now. Is everybody back in school?
No, they'll all be properly back next week. But I think you'll find that the pupils who are starting new at senior school, that kind of thing, start going in on Thursday, Friday.
Oh, right.
So there's like a little trickle back. Maybe people are going back into sixth form Thursday, Friday. So it's a bit of a start at the end of this week, and then all back next week.
Proper as of sort of next week onwards. Okay, so exciting times. Exciting times.
Yeah, busy week for parents.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and psychologically, this is the beginning of the year for parents, and parents in business as well. Yeah. The financial year of April to March, that really is sort of outdated. That suited the city, the financial institutions, but it's not in reality. That's not what happens out here. We do all of our planning so that projects start in September, and everything's tied off by the end of June, because July and August is about something else. It's about family, it's about downtime, it's about doing things differently. So yes, it's the beginning of the business year as well.
Excellent. I saw an article just real quick on why the tax year is the tax year in the UK. And it goes back, they're going to quote this wrong, but it goes back to sort of the 1500s. This is an old.
There you go, that's date.
Been around forever, so perhaps we can change it now still.
Yeah, well, why is it from that time? Can you remember what the article said?
It was all to do with tax revenues and seasons and all that sort of thing, giving people to get the harvest in and the ability to cash some things in and then get the taxes up to date and run the year that way. Didn't want to clash with the Christian calendar apparently either for Christmas. So it goes back.
So the seasons, I think you're quite right. The way farming has impacted what we do today is massive. So the school holidays in the UK are actually based around when the kids needed to be out in the field doing the harvest.
Quite right too. Back in the good old days, get the kids working. Quite right too.
And that's the only reason they're during that time. So we could, shake these things up. But that's interesting about taxation. I'd really like to read that. So it must have been that the farmers had long enough to do the selling and collect the money and therefore pay the taxes.
Something like this. Something like that. But it goes back hundreds of years, 500 years ago. It's quite, it was all done by doctrine by the kings and that type of thing. But probably we can't change it because it's now in it's part of Magna Carta or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway.
Oh, I've got a copy of that. I'll have a read.
There you go. And talking of research, and I found we were talking about this sort of offline a little bit as well. But I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here. But the Ink Dot, the American magazine publisher, there's a thread running through now, and it maybe comes to the UK as well, called the Great Resignation. And what we're finding is that they've been through COVID, coming out of lockdown, but they don't want to tolerate what they put up with before, whether it was the commute or the boss or the conditions or the hours or the whatever it was. They're not putting up with it. And in America, this is just quoting the article here from it says 4 million people quit their jobs in April alone. Money had little to do with it. And has even less to do with earning the right to find the right people for your business. But really, they're talking about recruitment as well. But it's really interesting. People seem to be looking for quality of life as well as income and career and everything like that. But starting their own business, jumping out of the corporate structure. I guess you can write a song about that. But not tolerating it anymore and doing their own thing. So there's a movement happening here, and I just wonder if that's applying to people in the UK specifically as well. Also, people have been watching this. But what's your experience? Are you seeing this as a movement in the UK as well?
Yeah, definitely. There's more and more of it. It's something that's been a long time coming, to be fair, David. In the 20 years that I've been in business, I've seen any number of people become cheesemakers, start growing vines so they can become winemakers. Those are the classics, big investment ones, but classics. And so that they have that control. I didn't want to be part of that rat race any longer on that hamster wheel in the city or in corporate life or that kind of employed institution any longer. And so it's been sort of like slowly happening. And I think the last 18 months has accelerated that, because so many of us had a chance to be at home much more, have time with the family much more, and because everything was closed, have a bit more money in our pockets. And you sort of think, well, hang on, life could actually be different. I don't have to be locked into that institution. And I think it's the institutionalization that people are fed up with. And hence the Great Resignation. It's a really interesting topic, and I just feel for me as an observer of society and business, this has been such a long time coming. Absolutely, it really is.
Right. The thing if you think, I mean, I guess we're all guilty of this, maybe for yourself in your career, but also my career as well. Why did we go into a job in the first place? Why did we work our way up this greasy pole, the ladder, and promotions and all this sort of stuff? Well, because we were probably told to do it through the education system for a start. It was how we were primed, and then something happened. For a lot of people, this you wake up one morning and you go, "What the heck are we doing here?" I have this sort of epiphany, and then you either go to a monastery in Tibet for 12 years, whatever it's going to be, or you say, well, I'm going to start my own business, do my own thing, and I think it happens to a lot of people. And as you say, I think COVID's accelerated that now, which is quite encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. I think it's the education system, and the education system was originally developed not so that people could read and write, but the institutions of 100 and 200 years ago needed people to read and write so that they could be the employees.
Absolutely right.
And they were often treated very badly. So that could be right from the people who were working in cotton mill factories to what's that character in Dickens' Christmas Carol?
Christmas Carol, yes, yes. Exactly.
The dad who is in there, who's working by the wax candle, and all of those kinds of things, but nothing, and to be treated poorly. So the treating poorly has changed dramatically, but in effect, we're all still going through this sausage factory in order to fulfill this requirement of compliance. Nearly, isn't it?
It is, but it's a con, isn't it, as well? Don't you think? It's a global
it is. Con. In so many of these cases, it's still lining the pockets of people who have got a huge amount of wealth already. And or pension funds or whatever it happens to be. It's not very much to do with the employee getting that much in terms of income or even time or other benefits. So for the sacrifice of maybe a few quid, you can have much more time by running your own business.
Absolutely.
And let's face it, if you're running your own business and running it from home, you haven't got your travel costs. You've got the time to budget better because you're around to do the cooking better, or the laundry, or the whatever it is. You can do more with the kids, like at the play park, so you're not having to pay for childminders. So it's sort of like you let go of a bit here, but you gain a whole lot here. And that's what people have started to observe over the last 18 months. It's the first time in history where the institutionalized workforce has been able to step back and say, hello,
that's right.
I want something different.
I want something bigger and better than this. I mean, I think that there's a movement, I think, in UK PLC, if you like, and also over here, France, Luxembourg, Germany, people are they want to retain flexibility. They want to work from home a bit more and this sort of thing. Now, some organizations are doing that, but that's only sort of a halfway house. And then a lot of people are beginning now to think, I don't want to go back to the commute, the working. I was speaking with, it doesn't matter who they are, a CEO in Luxembourg. And I remember saying to him, what is it you do? And he said, well, I make rich people richer. Great, well, good, that's great. Good for them, that's all good. But here, there was no fulfillment in it for him at all. No fun, no enjoyment, no fulfillment. And I said, well, why do you do this? Of course, it's salary. That's it. That's the only thing. They call it compensation for a reason. And I think people are woken up to the fact now that yes, money's important, absolutely, but so is balance, lifestyle, family, freedom, independence, and that's as more important.
Time.
People are waking up to realize that now as well.
Yeah, it's having time. Life is short.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we need to make the most of every moment that we can. And if you're employed within the institutionalized structures, you don't have that time.
No, exactly.
You run at the speed of the puppet master, basically. And also how you succeed or how well you're doing is determined by the puppet master too. And again, this is an extension of the education system. So, you know, school reports, Sam could do better. Well, that continues, doesn't it, in performance reviews. Saying, you know, Sam could do better or whatever, or you won't be getting a step up the ladder this year or whatever, or an incremental pay rise, because, and it's like you're constantly being assessed or judged.
Exactly.
And we have to sort of say to ourselves, do you actually need a lifetime of being assessed and judged? How good for the soul is that anyway? You know, we can do it for ourselves. We can use 360 methods that are talked about within institutions, but are they properly and, you know, deployed and used? Who knows? But, you know, by running your own business, you and I know you can see where you're not making the effort. You can tell that you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not making an effort in a particular area, there's a good chance it's because it's not your favorite thing.
Absolutely.
And you need to make sure that you surround yourself with people who will do those things competently and effectively, and balance it out that way. And if there's stuff that you do and you're rubbish at it, you just have to be honest with yourself when you're in business, because otherwise you're going to damage the reputation, your income potential. So you do it anyway. You don't need a school report to find that out.
No, exactly right. I do wonder, I see these sort of annual appraisals and that sort of thing. Because I think, you know, as you know, for what you do in your business and what we do in our business, we get appraised every day, every week, every month, not in a formal way, but it's called client retention, customer service, and an ability to grow and build, develop the business is consistent. And to sit down once a year and have an appraisal, when I wouldn't like to do it. I haven't done to me. That's certainly why. I think people are getting wise to it as well, that that doesn't form a quality of life for them at all.
No, absolutely. And if you, for me, if you have an annual appraisal and anything that's said is a surprise or a shock or is negative, then I have to say the management structure isn't working.
Exactly.
Because they should have been on the case the whole time, not leaving you to try and figure out how to tick the boxes for their appraisal form. But I think, you know, just as we're saying, it all sort of stems back from education. Is there really need? Is there really this need to do something like that, which is in some respects just character assassination? Do you need to go to work for that as an experience? You just referred, we can assassinate our own characters in our own business. We don't need somebody else to do it. And then we just sort of dust ourselves down and get on.
But I mean, do you think the difference is, I mean, especially what I do and what you do as well, but the difference between, for a lot of people, running their own business, they're doing it because they love to do it, they like to do it, they enjoy doing it. And therefore, if you're doing a job that you don't really, really enjoy, the only benefit is some salary, then you're not really worried about your sort of growth and development because you're just going through the motions. Whereas business ownership, I mean, you have to be on duty all the time, but because we love what we do, we enjoy it, we want to progress, and your report should always say, shouldn't it, David can do better. But of course we can. It's what we do. We're learning all the time, but we do it ourselves. That's probably one of the key differences, I would have thought.
Yeah, you heard the swimmer who won the gold at the Olympics, Tom Petey. He said, I really hope I've inspired you people back at home to get up and do something better every day. And when he said that, that really resonated with me, because that is, apart from the fact that that's what sports people should be doing, inspiring us to in some way, shape or form, that's what we want to be able to do each day. Is what can I do a bit better in my life today? It doesn't have to necessarily be the business thing, it could be something else, but it's improving your life overall. And that comes back to what you were saying, is people are doing the Great Resignation because they want to be working on their lives overall.
Absolutely, much more holistic approach, and which is the right thing. In your sort of experience with people, because this is such a an obvious thing for many people to start their own business, do their own thing, but they don't. They wait for something. Why are people hesitating? Why have they hesitated in the past, in your experience? What excuses are they using for not doing it?
Oh, blimey, you hit on something that has probably been around for ages, but I'm concerned that it's going to happen exponentially now that you've got this Great Resignation thing going on, where I mean, how many times have you heard yourself say, or heard other people say, well, won't do that yet, I'll just wait and see.
That's right. I'll wait till the time is right. The time isn't right just now. The time needs to be right.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for to get past little Johnny's 5th birthday. I'm going to wait for the weather to improve.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. I'm going to wait for I'm gonna wait and see what happens at work now. Wait and see. So, something, and it's always about things that those individuals have not got control over.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting Jim Carrey, the actor, did a university speech, welcome students, this sort of thing. And part of what he says, you can see it on YouTube, it's fabulous. Part of what he says that his dad was an accountant, I think he was, who stayed safe, didn't do what he loved because he thought he'd be safe being an accountant. And he was laid off from that job and fired and made redundant, and that caused all sorts of chaos. And what he said, you can fail doing what you don't like. So you may as well take the risk of doing what you love. I think that is absolutely true. There's a myth of security now in jobs and business and things like that. So we may as well take the risk of doing what you love, and the risk is lower actually. But why wait around? Just get on with it and go for it and make the best of it.
No, you hit on another point here, is that people realize that jobs are not for life.
No, absolutely.
They haven't been for quite some time. Sure. And that's gone by the by, whereas the education system and the whole sausage factory thing hasn't changed all that much. So the jobs for life has gone. The last 18 months has shown that actually that's even more acutely an issue. And you're better off trying and failing at something you love than or something that's for yourself, and you should love yourself. That's right. Rather than for somebody else. It's so important to do that, and also we live so much longer these days. Yeah. The NHS was calculated and designed around the fact that we retire at the age of 55 or 60, they calculated it at, but then everybody was meant to drop dead about 62. There wasn't an awful lot of contingency there financially for people actually outliving that age and through their retirement. Well, retirement sounds pretty blimmin' dull.
It is. I can guarantee it is. Hey, have you seen the people that retire? My goodness.
And just all those days that are passed with nothing being achieved and nothing being done. Whereas when you've got your own business, you can go past and into that age range on your terms, with your own conditions and your own control, so that you can still be doing things that really make you function, really make you feel alive and give you purpose, and still stimulate you without thinking, oh, somebody's going to make me retire soon.
Exactly. Going to kick you out the door.
What a terrible thought.
That's right. So people, I've got people listening to this, and they're thinking, and I'm sure people are, about whether it's a resignation or doing something different or whatever it's going to be. And they've, what choices have they got? I know we're talking about the franchising business, but you've got a choice. You can either go and do it yourself, buy a laptop and figure it out, or the franchising route plugs a lot of gaps. It gives a certain system and a framework. So
I think the audience knows by now that you and I are franchise experts. That's a big field for us, and we believe in it hugely. But it's not a religion to believe in. We know it works fantastically and it's really, really effective. But we're out the other side. These the people we're talking about, and hopefully the people who are watching this are considering going into business, considering starting their own business. And there are so many options out there. Yes, there is the blank sheet of paper. Done that.
Yes.
And it's fun. I really enjoyed it. But you need to have an awful lot of energy, an awful lot of self-belief, an awful lot of confidence, because it will be decimated as you go through.
Exactly.
With a franchise, you take so much of that away, because the formula's already set. Just add your energy, if you like. So yeah, we are franchise experts. We're all about starting your own business here, and we want our audience to more than just think about starting their own business. We want them to do it. We don't want them to say, I'll wait and see. I really want people to get on and do it, even if they start as a side hustle, and crack on, because it's going to make the biggest difference in their lives going forward. I know how much difference it's made in my life. And just stop waiting.
Yeah, so exactly. Get out the waiting room. I think see Dr. Seuss in the book. People sit in the waiting room, waiting for this and waiting for that. So get out. And also, speaking as an ex-franchisee back in the day, and I saw some both sides of the fence. One of the things about doing the business, which we did ourselves over here in France, Luxembourg, was the difference. One of the big differences was community. We didn't have a team. And I think you come from an organization where somebody's doing the window cleaning, somebody's doing the office cleaning, somebody's doing the marketing, somebody's whatever. No, they're not. It's you're doing it now, and you can sit there and you go, what do I do first? You're not running the business until you're in the business. Whereas from a franchise perspective, well, what about the website? Yeah, tick that box. Social media, tick that box. We're all good there. Systems, performance, marketing, invoicing. Yeah, tick, 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 tick. Not all you've got to do, but then it's a lot easier to get to the point.
And you've got people you can chat with.
Exactly right. You've got a community, you've got people around you, which I think is a huge benefit. A huge benefit. Yeah,
you invest into a team. You're becoming part of the team immediately. So you're not in business on your own. And then maybe that is why people say, oh, I'll wait and see, because they think it's going to be that lonely.
Perhaps.
I can assure you it is less lonely than functioning within an institution.
That's right, exactly. It is, yes. A lot more warmth around. That's
right. A lot more. So yeah, we need to see more people exercising that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
But if you've had like the seed of a thought that you would fancy your own business, push that thought now and see what you can do with it, because the economical time at the moment is perfect. Everything is in this economic surge. So everything is growing in lots of different ways. With domestic angels, where our figures are up by 150% versus pre-pandemic. The need for service, the need to buy time has increased that dramatically.
So just to compute that. So in the last, I'll call it 18 months, pretty much, in a global pandemic, lockdowns, 150% growth during this sort of calamitous time.
Well, but not during the whole of that time, because during the first lockdown, we couldn't do very much at all. Sure. Some people were very resourcell and did incredibly well out of it, but not everybody felt up to it. And there was kids at home and homeschooling and all this kind of business. So since, I say a year ago, last summer, that things started to really get back in. So you need to find traction, you need to get going again, because it doesn't just all fall into place. It takes a little while. So, then we'll take it to 9 months ago. It's increased, the figures up on 150%. Compared to what we were doing pre-pandemic, which we thought was pretty good then. But this is,
yes, that's right.
This is pretty amazing. But it just goes to show, if you choose the right thing, then it's all to be had right now. People are prepared to buy time. People want better lives. They don't want better things. They want better lives.
That's a really interesting point. I think they're better lives, not just better things. And because the better lives include time, stress, and everything that goes with it. You can't just buy that from the supermarket or Amazon, can you?
No, you can't. And it's a major cultural shift in the UK to go through this. When you go to Scandinavian countries, most families have something they call a heater, which is a cottage in the countryside. It won't be far from where they live, probably an hour. Some is a bit further away, and either the main family or parts of the family will use it nearly every weekend. People get away. They escape, they heal, they recharge, and find their balance in lives. We don't do this. We live in such an intense community. There's an awful lot of us on this little island.
Absolutely. as I found out they're all on the motorways in cars. When I travelled over there a couple of weeks ago, my goodness.
Yeah, don't get in your car.
Wow, it is densely packed. But you're right. I think there has been a move, and I think COVID has triggered this for a lot of people, that they're now thinking, as they should always have thought, now's the time to do something for myself, for my family, for my own health and well-being and balance, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And hence I think that why people are looking to, and franchising, as we know, is an elegant way of getting into business, because a lot of the detail work is done. You join in a community and you can get on and do what you love earlier on than you would doing it yourself, perhaps.
Yeah, and then there are fears as well that people have that probably you and I forget about because it's so long ago, and we face different fears each day. For example, I think, I have to write a business plan for the bank manager. You really don't. No. Business plans are out of date the moment you finish them, so no, don't.
They just
find yourself a decent business manager in the first place, bank manager in the first place. But also talk to people like you and I. There are groups for starting up businesses all over the place. You know, they come in all shapes and forms. There'll be one out there for every personality. And if you don't fancy any of those groups because you don't like belonging to the groups, talk to people like you and I, because we work very much individualistically and with our own personalities, and fail to completely conform to anybody else's point of view.
There's a reason that we do what we do, isn't there? I think.
Yeah, there is. But people want to help people. You and I want to help people start their own business, whatever route they take it. I want to start them. You know, it's fascinating when you see people start businesses and they ask you all questions, and then everything starts firing in your head, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I've got this idea, I've got that idea. And it really inspires me, as well as helping those other people. So, you know, pick up the phone, have a chat. You'd be surprised how much people want to help you, and don't be afraid to make that call, because the worst thing is to look back. I think we covered this in episode 1 and say, oh, I could have done that.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, I think the fear. The fear of failure is a lot higher than the fear of regret. You know, the regret that will be, but you should get on with it. You know, get on, pick up the phone and speak. And again, I know you and I know each other well. If somebody picks up the phone and has a conversation with you or with me, we're not going to try and sell them anything. We're going to just give them some ideas and tips that might mean they do progress, or maybe they don't, or it doesn't matter. But if he gets clarity, then that's all part of the fun.
Yeah, we need to deal with that word fail that you use a lot, David.
Yes, certainly. I'm making a little mental note. There's a note here.
Okay, so the word fail, F-A-I-L, first attempt in learning.
There we go. That'll do it.
Yeah. So it's not a fail. It was just your first attempt in learning, and then you'll go try something else. The trick is to constantly feedback. So this brings us back around to what we were talking about before, is if you can see something's not working, don't classify it as failure. Just go, right, okay, so that's not the way to do it, so I need to do it differently. Figure it out. And that's the fun of business, is you can just keep figuring it out. Nothing is actually a failure. Everything is a way of just like getting feedback and working out what is the best way of doing it. Nothing can be done perfectly the first time.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point. But I think, again, but the big being in business for yourself is we have to do that. But that's part of the fun, part of the journey, to learn and grow and build and develop, and let it grow and flourish as we go along. So
and let that new energy come in from different people and from different places as well. So for example, those phone calls I was talking about, people I spoke to somebody who might be interested in taking a Domestic Angels franchise a couple of weeks ago. Lovely chap, and just the way he was talking, and he could already sort of see how the business would work for him, and it was really inspiring actually to hear that, because it meant he connected with what we've been saying, because we don't always know that. So then I'm looking at, well, how can I make those connections better and help other people connect, so that they might be able to overcome that waiting fear and move forward as well. So you know, it's all about listening, learning, evolving, having huge fun and taking yourself through some challenges and evolving without somebody giving you a decimating school report or annual appraisal.
And the annual appraisal, how to avoid the annual appraisal. I mean, that must be one of the key motivators out there, I would have thought. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think I'm unemployable now. I think probably you are as well.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. So for people listening and watching to this, I mean, obviously, thank you for watching and participating. If people want to have a conversation with you or a conversation with me, how do they get in touch with Domestic Angels with Sam Acton? What's the best way to get
Okay, I'm going to give my mobile number if that's all right.
Of course.
So people can phone me direct. If I don't answer the phone, leave a voicemail, I'll get back to you. So it's 07985 28 11 20, and that's a UK number. Or my personal email address is sam@domestic-angels.com. I love talking business. Give me a shout.
Perfect. I won't give my mobile number only because it's a Luxembourg number. It'll cost them a fortune. My email address.
Mine's a Dorset one.
There you go, Dorset. My email address, if you want to contact me, and Sam and I are collaborating anyway. So you get one, you get both, really. David Holland at resultsrulesok.com. And I'd look forward to having maybe a virtual Zoom coffee with people.
Absolutely. Pick the personality you think you connect with the most. You've got two on offer here. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Both of us.
Hey, we have a three-way call. You never know. Who knows?
Okay.
All right, fabulous. Sam, thank you for really interesting on the updates. This is a Great Resignation. It's work in progress. It really is. We'll see what comes through from that one. Great to speak with you. Thank you for listening and watching. Remember to get in touch with Sam, get in touch with me, whatever it is. Don't wait. Get on with it. Push the button and take some action now. Sam, I'll see you real soon. Been a pleasure.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.